Oh. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Systemic Conversations, where we explore the hidden dynamics shaping our lives through the lens of systemic work and family constellations. I'm Carole.
And I'm Oriane. In this podcast, we uncover the invisible forces that shape our relationships, choices, and behaviors, often in ways we don't consciously realize.
So, in our first episode, we began by exploring how families' constellations can help heal generational and collective traumas, uncovering the hidden dynamics that influence our lives. What was the second episode, Oriane?
Ah. We looked at how relationship with our parents shapes our experiences, choices, and emotional patterns in ways we might not always recognize. And most recently, in our last episode, we examined the burdens we unconsciously carry that may not even be ours, revealing how inherited guilt, responsibility, or trauma can impact us without our awareness. So today, we are looking at imaginary crimes, those silent accusations we carry against ourselves, even we have done nothing wrong. And with that, we are exploring why we punish ourselves sometimes in ways we don't even recognize, and why we might even expose our suffering as if hoping for some kind of absolution.
Yes, and there are many ways in which imaginary crimes take hold of our lives. Some of the most common types include first, survivor's guilt. So, what is survivor's guilt? It's feeling undeserving of happiness, success, or even life itself because someone else in the family suffered or didn't survive. This can happen in families where an older sibling passed away, for example, or a parent endured extreme hardship during the war, for instance.
Hmm. The second is inherited guilt, carrying guilt for something that happened in the family long before we were even born. And this can come from an ancestor's actions, an unresolved tragedy, or a family member who was excluded.
Do you have an example of that?
Yeah, I had somebody who its great grandfather disappear during the war, and
Okay.
this lady had some difficulties to find a job in Belgium. So she was from Italy, and she had many degrees and PhD and so many uh, qualities, and it was like punishing herself because she was still waiting for this great grandfather. She was waiting for him.
Hmm. Well, that's crazy. So let's go to the third one, which is called loyalty guilt, feeling that we're betraying our family by choosing a different path, whether that's being more successful than our parents, or breaking a family pattern, or moving away from home.
Hmm. And the fourth is separation guilt. You know what? The belief that by leaving someone, a relationship, a job, or even our childhood home, can cause harm or abandonment, even when the separation is necessary.
Okay. The fifth one is parental guilt, a deep, often subconscious belief that we caused our parents suffering, that we were too much, not enough, or somehow the reason they struggled.
That's interesting. And the last one is guilt over taking one's place. This one is a little bit special. So the person can feel unworthy of stepping into leadership or being seen or allowing to thrive because someone else in the family was held back or denied their place. All of these imaginary crimes can lead to self punishment and unconscious limitation in life. But when we bring them to light, it's like alchemy. We can begin to release them, to transform them into power, talent, and I can say permission.
That's a good one. Yeah. Okay. So what we thought would be quite good for our audience is to give them a very clear example with a very specific scenario. So let me tell you the story of this young girl. So she's standing at the front door as her father gets ready to leave for work. It's part of their daily routine. He bends down to kiss her goodbye, just like he does every morning. But today she refuses. Maybe she's feeling stubborn. Maybe she's upset about something small. Maybe she just wants to test boundaries of saying no. Her father chuckles, ruffles her hair, and says something playful like, "All right, be good today." Then he walks out the door. That same evening, he doesn't come home. There's been an accident. He died on the way back from work.
Wow. And during those days and weeks that follow, the house fills with grief, confusion, and shock. And this little girl, caught in the middle of it all, doesn't have the words to express what she's feeling. But deep inside her heart, something takes hold. A small, silent voice whispers to her, "If only I had kissed him, maybe he would still be here."
Of course, she knows rationally that it isn't true. As she grows older, she understands that a kiss or the absence of one had nothing to do with the accident. But that voice, that hidden guilt, stays with her. And without realizing it, she begins shaping her life around it. Maybe she becomes overly accommodating, always saying yes, as if to make up for that one time she said no. Maybe she struggles to receive love because deep down she believes she doesn't deserve it. Or maybe she punishes herself in quiet, unconscious ways, staying in unhappy relationships, sabotaging her success without ever quite knowing why.
And this is an imaginary crime, a guilt that isn't based in reality, but that feels real in the body, in the emotion, and in the way someone moves through life.
Okay, so when we carry an imaginary crime, we often feel a need to punish ourselves. But why do we do this, Ariane?
One reason is that punishment gives us a false sense of control. And yeah, we need to control. And if we believe we are guilty, then suffering becomes a way to make things right, even if rationally we have done nothing wrong.
Exactly. Punishing ourselves can also be a way of staying loyal to our family system. If an ancestor suffered, we might unconsciously feel that we too must suffer as a way of honoring them or keeping the balance.
And suffering doesn't bring resolution. The real way forward is to acknowledge that we have been carrying and return it to where it belongs.
Okay, so how do we truly release the guilt and stop punishing ourselves? This is where family constellation work can be transformative.
Hey, yeah, family constellation. It's a great opportunity to step outside our personal perspective and see the larger system we belong to. Often, guilt and self punishment don't originate with us. They are inherited from unresolved family traumas, past exclusion, as I already said, or burdens taken unconsciously.
Okay, so take for example someone who has always felt guilty for having a better life than their parents. What we can do in a constellation, we might see that they're unconsciously carrying the hardship of a parent or grandparent as if to say, "I will suffer so that you're not alone in the pain, in your pain.
Yeah. And it's also a way to stay close of
Mm,
those
mm,
parents, to feel the belonging. That's
mm,
very important because this is one of the biggest issue for the human is to belong to a tribe, a family, a community.
mhm.
And through this process, it's an opportunity to turn towards their ancestor and say something like, I honor your suffering, but I choose to live fully. Just acknowledging that have been carrying something that isn't theirs can just that and can bring relief.
Yeah, these are powerful, liberating sentences we use during a
Mm.
family constellation. Another example is someone who feels responsible for a family tragedy, like a child who was born after the loss of a sibling and carries a deep guilt for being the one who lived. In a constellation, they may be guided to symbolically return that guilt, acknowledging the lost sibling while stepping fully into their lives.
Yeah, and this is about grief, and the child can also carry the grief from the mother, from the parents, and
Mm,
feel um, like it's unfair to be in a good health, alive,
mm,
while the brother or the sister is not
right.
anymore here. So
Yeah.
those movements create a shift in the system, and just by recognizing what we have been unconsciously entangled with, it allows to free ourselves from the guilt, and there, there are new opportunities, new paths. So the one you can choose is on love and not anymore on suffering.
And this is key. True healing doesn't come from punishing ourselves, it comes from recognizing that we've been carrying, honoring the past, and making a conscious decision to live freely. So, imaginary cries can quietly shape our lives, limiting us in ways we don't even recognize. But once we bring awareness to them, we open the door to real freedom.
Yeah, the process of healing is about stepping out of inherited guilt and allowing ourselves to embrace life fully.
So, for the audience, we have something very key for them to reflect on. So, if you've recognized yourself in any of the stories that we shared today, take a moment to ask, what am I carrying that isn't mine? And wonder if you have the guilt, which one of them it is. And then we can have some conversations and you could step into a family constellation workshop.
Yeah, and you can ask to yourself, and if it's not mine, to who it belongs in my family.
Hmm.
And I want to say thank you for joining us on Systemic Conversation. We hope this episode has given you insight and a new way of looking at the hidden dynamics of guilt and self punishment, and also at your family and at your life. So until next time, take care and stay curious about what moves beneath the surface.
Okay, and before we go, we wanted to give you a bit of an idea of what we're going to talk next on the next episode. We shift our attention and our focus to couples and relationships. So, relationships thrive on a balance of giving and receiving. But what happens when this balance is off? When one partner gives too much and the other struggles to receive, or when unresolved family patterns influence how we connect?
Yeah, and stay with us. We will explore the hidden dynamics that create tension in couples and how family constellation can reveal the unseen forces shaping our relationships. So please join us next time as we uncover all those deep roots of relationship struggles. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So it's very easy, it's free, and you get notified as soon as the episode is live. See you then.
And also don't forget that you can watch the replays of the other 3 episodes you've missed, if you missed them. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.